Today what we're doing is we're going to give you an overview of how to use the cloud service. Now the Comet cloud service is something that we've been developing over the last couple of years to give our clients access to like 1,000 machines through the cloud to run a whole lot of cases quickly. Now there's a number of scenarios when this becomes very useful, but when you have a matrix of prices and discount rates and different scenarios that you're wanting to model, you can end up getting tens, hundreds, or even thousands of different cases. So that's exactly what this is about. So we're going to take, for a start, a standard Comet user interface, and I'll just show you a couple of features of the standard interface. So the first thing is, we'll just notice that in the project sheet, we have the project title is the Monero Finca Data Limitada dataset, and we have a case here that also displays the copper price and the discount rate that's being used for the case. This will come in useful later when we actually see a whole lot of cases being run. So this is case 6 at the moment. Now, if we go to our settings, the first thing that we're going to need to do in the settings is to get a verification code. Now, part of using the cloud is that we needed to upgrade the security to make sure that only people with active email addresses for the company are able to access the data and run the cloud. So what we do is, you see at the end, we have an email verification code. If you click on this, and the first thing that you need to enter is your email address. And then there's a verification code that needs to be sent to you. If you just click OK now, the verification code will now be emailed to you, and then we'll come back into this area and enter it. So go to your email now. Okay, now this is the sort of email that you'll get with the email verification code. So this green number here is the code that you're going to need to select and copy and paste back into Excel. So if you come back into Excel, click the email verification code, enter your address, click OK, and then paste that number and click OK. So it's come back and said that our verification has been successful. So this code will last for a month, and it's tied to your email address. So when people leave, it's a security thing that some of the companies have asked for, that this code doesn't last more than a month. And you'll need this to use the cloud service. So another aspect of this verification code is it's not actually stored with the user interface. So it's stored separately, so you can pass on this user interface to somebody else and they don't get your verification code. So just keep that sort of a bit secure, because that's going to be used to identify you when we run cases. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is that I've set up a bunch of cases here. So you can see I've got 20 cases listed here, all running for 10 iterations, and a discount rate of 10% for the first 10 and 12% for the second 10, and then different copper prices for each one of the cases. Now these have been linked to our discount rate, our number of iterations, and our copper price. So now let's go to the macros, which is where the cloud service is started from. So when we come to the macros, we would normally just say that we're going to run cases 1 to 20, and we click Run All Cases. That would run them all locally. But with the cloud service, we have a new option here. If you select Cloud Service, then the first thing that you should do is just check your status. So if we check your status, you've got these fields just below that will be populated. Check that your company name is here. This is how many days until the verification code expires. So And this shows you how many hours you have remaining and roughly how many cases you can run. Now, the number of cases you can run is actually based on how long you think a case will actually run. So if you think a case is going to run for 5 or 10 minutes, then having 30 minutes here is fine. If you think it's going to be kind of 20 to 25 minutes, then maybe bump this up to an hour. If you think it's going to run a couple of hours, bump it up to 5 or 6 hours. The idea is that once you hit this limit of the timeout, the case will stop, whether it's finished calculating or not. So make sure it's not too tight. Now, before we click Run All Cases, there's one other setting that I'd like to mention. The setting is what directory all the phase files are in. So this setting is a new setting. It's used in combination with what's in the phases sheet to determine where these particular files are. So you can add other subdirectories here, but the root of the phase directory is now specified in the settings. And so you'll take this root, or this base phase directory, plus the variable that's in the phases to get the total phase name. Now, when it comes to the cloud, we're actually going to use this base phase directory, this path, to upload all the phase files that are in that directory. So let's start this. So we're going to run cases 1 to 20. When we select Run All Cases, the first thing that happens is all the files in the base phase directory are analysed to see if there's any new ones. So in this case, it says, look, I've got 3 new phase files that haven't been updated previously. Do I want to upload them? So the first thing that happens is all the phase files that have changed are uploaded. So we'll say yes. You can see down the bottom here how far through uploading the phase files we are. And then once the phase files have been uploaded, we're actually going to run case 1, submit that to the cloud, run case 2, submit it. You can see it's already up to case 4. So all these cases are being submitted to the cloud, and machines are being started, and then they're going to be starting to run. Now, I'll show you a quick look at the support website, where you can also see the status of these cases. So here we have our normal support website, but you'll notice there's a new button at the top here called Cloud Service. If you click on this, again, you're going to need to add your verification code, and then you can specify how long ago you want these cases to run. So I'm just going to look at the cases that have been run today. Say retrieve jobs. Wait patiently. And then here you can see our 20 cases and see the status of them all. So far, a lot of them have been queued but haven't been started. You can see that there's this one, a container has been started to start running it. It often takes 30 seconds to a minute or two to start a container. If we click refresh again, so what you can see now is actually most of our cases have been started, and so far this is the NPV that we're seeing and the life from that particular case. You can see the case title. This is also what we call the group of the case. So the case title and the group is the same thing, and the reason is that we're going to need to group cases in terms of what phase files are associated with them. Okay. You can also have a look. Okay. We can also see just how far through those cases are going. So we can click refresh again and see the status of each of the cases, what iteration they're up to. So these are up to iteration 3. These are iteration 1. You can see that so far in the last 2 minutes, we've actually run 12 minutes of time. Let's go back to the user interface and we'll have a look here at the same information. So to get that same information of the status of all the jobs, click Refresh Results. So down below here are now all the results and where they're up to. So these ones all say that they have actually completed. So it says Comet succeeded. And this is the NPV, the life of the particular case, of each case. You can obviously sort them according to whichever criteria you like, or according to NPV. And when you're interested in a particular case, you can right-click here and say, well, import this job, or if you select several rows, let me select a few of these, right-click, say, import all the files, and what will happen is, we'll say yes to this, and what will happen is that each of those jobs that were run on the cloud are now being downloaded and put in the same directory as what they used to be, as what they would have been if they were run locally. Now, then we can go to a particular case, like case 10. We can specify case 10. There we go, all the data has been completely downloaded. Then we can specify case 10, and we can say, we can look at what's been run there, look at the display file. So you can see these are actually names from the cloud. It's still identified you and your company, but it's running it on another machine. So you can import this schedule. And then look at the period schedule for that, the phase summary, and so on. So that gives you an overview of the cloud service and the files and how the file structure works. Give it a go. We've given all of our Comet clients 1,000 hours for free. There's no charge on that. Once if you like it, then contact us and let us know, and we'll send you the pricing for according to how many hours you'd like to run, how many thousands of hours, and just what those prices are. Let me know how you go. Cheers.